Hello, this is the Seattle State of Seattle address for Friday, June 9th, 2018. I had to look at the date. Sorry about that. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I hope you will enjoy this, and I hope that it enlightens you some. It'll be part video A, and then tomorrow I will bring in part video B of the conclusion of the State of Seattle address, addressing the state that Seattle is in. Thank you. I wanted to speak to you about Seattle City Council and the progressive tax on business. I'm talking to you again about this because I was on the Seattle.gov website, and it says here, Seattle Council passes tax on business to help address homelessness. It's Seattle's fault that the homeless are homeless. When I say Seattle, I'm talking about the City Council. They kind of swept the issue under the problem. They swept it under the rug. And they decided that it would be easier to just not deal with the issue than it would be to deal with the issue. They had shelters and they had places for the homeless to stay, and it didn't get out of hand till several years ago. It says here, following more than 5 months of deliberation, the Seattle City Council passed an ordinance related to taxation intended to help address the homelessness problem. The amended proposal established an annual tax of $275 per full-time employee on the city's largest businesses. Those with revenues of more than $20 million, about 3% of all the businesses in Seattle. That's a bad idea. You should not force the citizens of Seattle to help you combat something that you're not combating. You are saying this is going to help the homeless, but you're going to help the homeless do what? Stay homeless? Be more comfortably homeless? It says here the measure would generate an estimated $47 million annually and end on December 31st, 2023. The ordinance passed by a unanimous vote with all 9 council members supporting it. Of course you guys supported it, because that's extra money in your pocket. Selected highlights of the amended ordinances include exempt Seattle small and medium-sized businesses. Only apply to those with at least $20 million or more annually in taxable gross receipts as measured under the city's existing business and occupation tax. Apply only to cities' approximately 585 largest businesses, or approximately 3% of all Seattle businesses. If you're going to tax some, you need to tax all, or don't tax at all. Require large businesses to pay $275 per full-time equivalent employee working 1,920 hours per year, or about 14 cents per hour. When you break it down to 14 cents an hour, how many people are going to miss 14 cents an hour? If you pulled 14 cents out of your pocket each hour and just dropped it on the floor, when you got home, you probably wouldn't miss it. But at the end of the year, $275 could take an awful cut out of your drinking, your nightlife, going to the opera, seeing a baseball game, crap like that. Include an include an evaluation of the economic impacts and an independent oversight committee, and include an evaluation of the economic impacts and an independent oversight committee, and hello, you guys are talking way too much about this stuff. You need to put your foot down and do something. Exempt healthcare providers that provide at least 25% of their services to patients covered by Medicare and Medicaid, as well as all hospitals. Council President Bruce Harrell, District 2, South Seattle, said, "In every policy or fiscal decision we make, we have to look at the impact on jobs. Our goal is to have a successful and vibrant business community, one of the best in the country." Okay, yeah, you got a bunch of rich people, and you got a bunch of nerdy transplants that move to your city. You got a bunch of well-to-do, upper-class schnooks, as I call it. Now, I'm not down on anybody making money, don't get me wrong. But you've got a lot of carpetbaggers that just came to your city looking for a higher paycheck. Business community, one of the best in the country, and at the same time assist our most vulnerable and strategically invest assist our most vulnerable and strategically invest in affordable housing. Oh, really? Strategically invest? That means that if it ain't going to profit the city, you're not going to fuck with it. One does not exclude the other. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It excludes the other. And I'll explain to you why it excludes the other. Because Seattle is not a mix of rich, middle, and low income. Seattle is middle class, getting by, the low income not getting by, they're struggling very hard, and the rich are enjoying the high life. They're enjoying the fruits of their labor, which is fine, but what do you want? You want Seattle to just be the rich? You want Seattle to cater to just the people that can afford to spend $200 on a steak dinner, or $200 on seafood, or $2,000 or $3,000 a month on an apartment? Do you want that to be your only? Seattle, what kind of legacy are you looking to provide for future Seattleites? One does not exclude the other, it says. Our investment strategy must balance these objectives without demonizing advocates or businesses. Hello? You guys are catering to the freaking rich. And you got people moving in hand over fist. And some of those people, if they were honest with themselves, they're moving to your city because they want to get fucking high. You guys got weed that's legalized in your city, and they want to smoke. They want to get high as a kite, and they want to be able to do it as much as they want. It's trendy now. Is that what you want to be known for? Hello? Today, we have reached a promise that accomplished this goal. Harrell continued, I did not support the spending plan because our strategy must leverage the expertise and resources in real estate, software and applications and other areas to make sure we gain the trust of the public and how we invest our funds from this new revenue stream. You see what they're saying, revenue stream? They figured out a way to fuck you out of your money so they can have it whenever they need it. This legislation is currently designed for a finite period to address the affordability and homeless crisis. How we spend the money becomes critically important, residents. Members of our business community and advocates should be offered the opportunity to weigh in. Business community advocates should be allowed, no, you the workers should weigh in. You should say, look, it's our money. Fuck the homeless. If that's the way you feel, be honest. Say, don't take my money. The homeless are lazy bums, and that's all they're doing is just being lazy and getting high and getting drunk all the time, and they're sleeping outside. So why in the hell should we pay for them? Because that's the way a lot of you feel. That's why you protested it. If you had a heart and you cared about anybody but yourselves, and you weren't such self-centered jerks, and you look at it, $275 a fucking year is not really that much to take out of your paychecks. If the business is making over $20 million a year, chances are you're making at least 50 bucks an hour, give or take. Because I don't know any personal businesses, mom and pop businesses like the little corner store or the little mom and pop pizza place or the little restaurant that does fish and chips that's making $20 million a year. I'm thinking Amazon, Facebook, and the Seattle Mariners and the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm thinking Amazon, Facebook, and Microsoft, and those kinds of things that are making $20 million a year. I don't know too many other businesses that are running a business in Seattle that are making $20 million a year, unless it's the Westlake Shopping Center or the Space Needle or the Pike Place Market. So, this legislation is currently designed for a finite period to address the affordability and the homeless crisis. Quit being such a jerk. Pay the $200. If I was you, I would agree to take that $275 and make it an even $300. I'm not making very much money a year at all. I'm not really. But I'll tell you what, I could afford to take $275 out of my yearly pay. I make less than $10,000 a year, Seattle. I do. I'm on disability right now. I'm disabled. I make $755 a month. If they took $50 out of my paycheck, 50, 100, 52, 53, for 6 months, if they took $50 out of my check for 6 months, that'd be $250 or 200. Well, it was 275, 300. Okay, 100. I could part with $100 to help Seattle. I could part with $100 a month. That would be $100 a month. That'd be $1,200 a year. I could part with that, Seattle. I could. But of course, I don't have as much. I don't have a whole lot of responsibilities. I don't go drinking. I don't go partying with my buddies. I don't go to ball games, and my life's kind of boring. So I just got a couple of bills to pay, and that's it. But I managed to make it work. I get my groceries. I get my transportation, and I do that all on $755 a month. I pay my rent. I pay my phone bill. I pay my utilities. I pay my internet bill, and I pay my storage bill, and I do all that on $755 a month, and I make it work. I just make it work. I don't have a whole lot of things that I want to do that excite me. I mean, I'm happy watching TV, or I'm happy watching a movie on my internet and what have you. I'm not saying everybody has to live like this, but I'm saying that it can be done. Now, for those that have high amounts of rent that they're paying and high amounts of mortgage that they're paying off a new car, they're paying off their mortgage for a house. Now, I get it. That's a lot of money. It says here, the legislature, okay, how we spend the money becomes critically important. Residents, members of our business community, and advocates should should be afforded the opportunity to weigh in, which means that the city passed this without you guys being consulted or able to weigh in on it. If you guys were brought in on the process and they asked you what your opinions were on it, I bet you a lot of you would say, yeah, go ahead. Thank you for asking us, without just up and taking it out of our check. My next video will be from Council Member Sally Bagshaw from District 7, Pioneer Square to Magnolia. That'll be in my next video. This has been my Seattle, State of Seattle address, addressing the state that Seattle is in. I do this once a week. It's on a Friday. I started off a little funny because I didn't appropriately address this as my State of Seattle address, but it is. Therefore, I will conclude on that note, and I will talk to you again. I'll probably make another video tomorrow, which will be a conclusion to this video. So anyway, have a good night, Seattle. I will see you tomorrow.